Which PS5 games are the best of 2025 so far? Let's get into it. Hello everyone, Aiden here from Push Square. We're officially 3/4 of the way through 2025, so it's time for our quarterly check-in with the best PS5 games of the year. Have any previous entries slipped positions? What newbies have claimed a spot in the top 10? Before we find out, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation video content just like this. Anyway, let's get into the top 10 best PS5 games of 2025 so far. Coming in at the number 10 spot, we have a newcomer, Shinobi Art of Vengeance, one of Sega's franchise revivals. This is an old school 2D action platformer developed by the team behind Streets of Rage 4. Playing as Shinobi Joe Musashi, you're on a big old quest for vengeance after your village and clan are burned to the ground. To be honest, the story isn't anything too special. Instead, what you're really here for is the platforming action. The game looks gorgeous with its hand-drawn art style, which just really pops thanks to the kinetic, satisfying combat that feels superb once you really get into the flow of it. It's got great additional modes, rewarding progression, and some dense levels filled to the brim with secrets. It's fantastic stuff. This has got to be one of the biggest shifts in this list after previous entries, but debuting at number 3 back in April, Monster Hunter Wilds now finds itself all the way back at the number 9 spot. As is the point of this list, it's all about how we feel about the games in the moment and how they stay with us as time goes on. And evidently Monster Hunter has lost a little bit of that shine as the year has continued within the Push Square team. But don't let that put you off, because whether it's first or 10th, being on this very list means that it is still one of the best games that you can play on PS5 this year. Monster Hunter Wilds takes what worked with Worlds and improves and expands upon it, with a brand new setting that's vastly altered across the seasons, with a plethora of weapons to try out and monsters galore to study and hunt. This is a fantastic action RPG, made even better when playing with friends. A full-on remake of Falcom's original Trails title, Trails of the Sky First Chapter, is just about everything that a fan of the franchise, or just JRPGs in general, could want. It's an endlessly charming, supremely polished adventure, and honestly, it sets the bar for the series going forward. While it's sometimes glacially slow pacing won't be for everyone, the story excels in terms of world building and character writing. Indeed, this is one of the most endearing casts that you'll find in any modern RPG, and you're a perfectly balanced party that you'll be rooting for from beginning to end. Now, with the second remake already confirmed, we think First Chapter is an ideal place to start your all-new obsession with Falcom's long-standing series. In so many ways, this really is a peak Trails title. It's been a long wait for Silksong, but it finally dropped this September. Team Cherry's Metroidvania follow-up is tough as nails and utterly gorgeous to look at, with its hand-drawn art style and inventive buggy bosses. But more than anything, the game manages to capture that same enchanting form of exploration that we loved so much in Hollow Knight. Admittedly, it's got some little bugbears like the distance between some bosses and currency scarcity, but everything else is just done to such a high degree. There's a phenomenal sense of progression, a more tangible story, plenty of build potential, and even a sumptuous score to complement those visuals. Varloom is a setting that the Push Square team just couldn't get enough of, but it demands patience to be enjoyed to its fullest, which makes it a special kind of experience. Speaking of special experiences, Hell Is Us is certainly one of them, as it asks you to lock in, pay attention, and maybe even take some notes while playing. Set in a fictional war-torn country of Hadia, you'll set out on a quest to find your parents. But eventually you're getting steeped into the centuries-long feud between two religious factions, whilst digging into their blood-speckled ancient history. The special part here is that Hell Is Us doesn't feature a map, a marker, or even a traditional quest log system. So instead, you must listen to what NPCs say, pay attention to the details of your surroundings, and bury yourself in the lore of its history to solve some of its puzzles. It's definitely not for everyone, but actually immersing yourself in the world results in one of the most unique gaming experiences of the year. Keeping with immersion, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is next up, a game that certainly wants to immerse you in its realistic take on 1400s Bohemia, which is now the Czech Republic. In it, you play as Henry of Skalitz, who's down on his luck once more and must start his rags to riches gameplay loop all over again. The sequel is bigger and more dense than its predecessor, with phenomenal writing, immersive mechanics, and such a grim and brutal and realistic world. You'll struggle to find places to sleep, things to eat, and even struggle to keep yourself clean. But that grind, that struggle is part of what makes it so special, because it wants you in the pits with Henry himself. It's a brilliantly brutal experience that all RPG fans should check out. Split Fiction has taken the number 4 spot, and man, what a game it is. The latest from Hazelight is its greatest game to date, a co-op extravaganza with some of the most inventive and varied levels of 2025, with an incredibly creative storyline. You play as 2 different writers, one's into sci-fi, the other fantasy. Both of them are trapped in simulations of their own stories. Now you must work together to survive and escape your own creations, and what follows is hilarious, really cool, and just so damn fun. It Takes Two had some dull moments for me because it was kind of too easy or simple at points. Split Fiction does not have that problem, constantly switching up the types of gameplay or co-op challenges. It's not as non-gamer friendly because of it, but it's a much more exciting and playful experience. Shooting itself all the way up to the number 3 spot, we have newcomer Ghost of Yotei. This is the long-awaited anthology sequel from Sucker Punch Productions, which ditches its setting of Tsushima and protagonist Jin Sakai for the new island of Izo, Unreal protagonist Atsu, and a full 300 years time jump. There is a gripping story at work here, as you would expect, but the big improvement with Yotei comes in the form of its more natural approach to exploration, where you'll come across more events and stories, along with the usual bamboo strikes, hot springs, and so on. The surrounding fields of Mount Yotei are gorgeous. The combat is diversified with different weapons, and you've got a list of the Yotei 6 to take out. It's a grand old cinematic samurai adventure, and one of the best 2025 has to offer so far. Another PS exclusive sequel, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, has actually slipped from the top spot, but man, what a game this is. It's certainly not for everyone, as it's stuffed full with the whimsical narrative and mechanical quirks of a Hideo Kojima game. But because of that, you have one of the most unique experiences of the generation. Death Stranding 2 has a much more emotional story than what you would expect, with Norman Reedus back as your favourite postie, Sam Porter Bridges. But the big appeal of this one, at least for me, is that it massively improves its delivery gameplay. Combat is a much bigger focus and feels leagues better when you're attacked by scavengers or BTs than it did in the first game. And then the environment itself is a much bigger threat, with flash floods, fires, and dust storms. On top of that, you have easily one of the best looking games on PS5. It looks insane. It was the number 2 spot before, now it's taking the crown. It's Clair Obscur Expedition 33. We knew this one was great when it released earlier this year, but we genuinely didn't think it would stay with us for so long. Its world, its characters, its combat, its music are all just enchanting stuff. You know that way when you hear a track from a game and you get nostalgic of just how great an experience it was for you? Yeah, we're already getting like that with Clair Obscur. If you don't know, this is a JRPG inspired title set in a magical Belle Epoque inspired France. An ominous figure called the Paintress paints a lower number each year, and people of that age are erased from existence. No expedition has managed to take her out so far, but maybe yours will be different. The world itself is oxymoronical, with gorgeous sun-kissed vistas drenched in death and despair, with the bodies of former failed expeditions littered across your journey. But Clair Obscur manages to tread the line of solemn and serious. It can be a real emotional hard hitter, but at times it can also be funny and quirky. It's a masterclass of an experience that we aren't likely to forget anytime soon. Thanks everyone for watching our new top 10 best PS5 games of 2025 so far. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this revised list, and while you're there, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation content just like this. I really would appreciate it. Anyway, that's all from me, so until next time, I've been Aaron, and this has been Push Square.